Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some massive news coming out of the LSU football program earlier today, as LSU is set to hire former Texas defensive line coach Bo Davis to come in and coach the defensive line for LSU. And we normally do not do position coach updates. I'm going to make an exception for Bo Davis because this is a program that if you're an LSU fan, you are so excited about what the future is with this program because you know this offense is going to be elite for the next couple of years. Obviously, what we saw from us in the bowl game, but more importantly, landing guys like Bryce Underwood in the 2025 class, Harlem Berry, DeCorey, and more. This is going to be an elite offense, and this shows Brian Kelly's commitment to getting this defense right. Because if this LSU defense kind of plays to where it should be, this is going to be one of the most dangerous teams in college football. And it goes back to the conversation we had around Blake Baker about a week ago when he took the job at LSU. One, Blake Baker, from a schematic standpoint, from a player development standpoint, absolute dynamite. I was a huge fan of the hire because of those reasons. But also another thing that was super underappreciated of Blake Baker, and quite frankly, of coaches in college football in general, is the ability to surround yourself with a very good supporting staff. And Blake Baker did a phenomenal job with Missouri and the staff that he hired around him. I thought it was one of the best defensive coaching staffs that you saw in all of college football. And it looks like he's going to be doing the exact same thing for the LSU Tigers. And I think Bo Davis really shows this. I want to talk about, one, what this LSU defense is going to look like in 2024, what Bo Davis is going to bring to this defense. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. This has been a program that's, quite frankly, just been a blast to talk about over the last couple of weeks, obviously with the defensive coaching hires that LSU is set to make, but making some noise in the transfer portal, landing guys like Harlem Berry and Bryce Underwood in the 2025 class. It's been a blast. You guys have shown a ton of support to the boys. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. More importantly, would love to hear from you guys in the comment section how we're feeling about Bo Davis coming to LSU. And I want to start with what Bo Davis brings from a player development standpoint. Now, Bo Davis, during his time at Alabama, during his time at Texas, was known as one of the better recruiters on that defensive line in the country. But more importantly, I think Bo Davis, from a player development standpoint, has been one of the best in the business for the last couple of years. And you look at that Texas defense and why that was such a dominant group in 2023, why Texas was such a good team in 2023 in general. A lot of it had to do with what they brought in the trenches on that defensive line. Taking a look at this Texas defense, allowed only 2.9 yards per carry against opposing running backs. That was fifth in the country. Only 82 yards of rushing yards per game. That was number 3 in the country. And you compare that to LSU in 2023, 4.5 yards per carry allowed. That was 84th in the country. Texas's defensive line was arguably the best unit in college football that we saw in 2023. And you would expect Bo Davis to kind of bring that element of player development to LSU. And you take a look at some of the specific players that he has developed in comparison to some of the guys that you had at LSU in 2023. Looking at Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo, Mason Smith, a 9.5% pass rush win rate, 18 quarterback hurries, and Mekhi Wingo, a 7.9% pass rush win rate with only 12 quarterback hurries. This was a unit that 6 months ago, when we were heading into the 2023 season, said could be one of the better defensive lines that we've seen in all of college football. And I think a lot of LSU fans know that in 2023, that was definitely not the case. And it always felt like there's a lot of meat left on the bone in terms of the development of some of those defensive linemen at LSU. You take a look at Texas and look at some of the development that they've had. They probably are going to have 3 interior defensive linemen that are drafted in the top 200 in the NFL draft in the next couple months, right? A guy like Byron Murphy, 36 quarterback hurries, a 19.6% pass rush win rate from the inside. Tavondre Sweat, 25 quarterback hurries, a 15.3 pass rush win rate. And then Alfred Collins, 18 quarterback hurries and a 13% win rate as a pass rusher. You look at the development of this Texas defensive line, and specifically in comparison to what you saw at LSU, I mean, it's not even close. Bo Davis is going to come in, and we know the talent is going to come to LSU. But what excites me the most is you're getting guys that are going to get developed now. I mean, the large part of college football, yes, talent accumulation is a massive part of this sport that we watch. but a large part of it as well is the development. And it's no secret, LSU the last couple of years, it just wasn't getting developed to the level it needed to be, specifically on that defensive line. So what does LSU do? And I think this is the most special point of it, is Brian Kelly is sparing absolutely no expense in terms of getting this defense right. He knows this offense is going to be very good for the next couple of years. And he says, we can win a national championship if we get this defense right. He goes out and gives Blake Baker one of the highest paid defensive coordinator spots in all of college football. And then you go out to the Texas Longhorns and grab their coveted defensive line coach in Bo Davis. I think this overall shows the commitment of Brian Kelly in this LSU program to getting this defense right, because of the next couple of years, not only in 2024, but in 2025 and in 2026, this is going to be a special offense. And if this LSU defense can take some strides, I think this is going to be one of the most dangerous teams in all of college football. It started with changing the coaching staff. Blake Baker was a home run hire. I think Bo Davis is just as much of a home run hire for the LSU Tigers. And again, Dominic McKinley coming in the 2024 class. They're trending for a couple defensive linemen in 2025. I think you're really excited about the future of this LSU defense, but more specifically, getting this defensive line back to being kind of a dominant force. Now, Bo Davis is going to have his work cut out for him the first season, right? Because Mason Smith and Kai Wingo both gone, but I'm interested to see what they can do in the transfer portal. And in terms of getting some talent ready in 2024, Bo Davis, a home run hire for the LSU fans. Would encourage you guys to go just YouTube search Bo Davis bus speech, get a feel for what the culture is that Bo Davis wants to cultivate in that LSU defensive line. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys, checking it out. We'll be talking a lot more LSU over the next couple of days as they continue to make moves on this defensive staff, continue to make moves in the transfer portal. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.